Hey guys, it's Stealth here. Welcome to the War Room. It's episode 7, and as I'm going to be duking it out against a medium AI with very old technology, I'm using USA 1980 and earlier versus a USSR 1980 and earlier. We're going to discuss some of the stuff that's happened this week. Now, first of all, of course, my watched stream from last Monday. I was hoping to do a stream, and that's exactly when the internet said, nope, it's not going to happen. So unfortunately I had to cancel that stream, and it turned out that the internet was pretty much going at a speed of somewhere along 1 or somewhere between 1 to 5 megabit per second. It was really painful. More so because I'm used to a internet speed of 120 to 130 megabit per second. So I wasn't even getting 1% of my speed. Needless to say, that wasn't really what I was hoping for, so I was not able to do a replacement stream. I was not able to get anything done, really. So I couldn't record any new videos, and luckily I had quite a few saved up already, so that you guys didn't have to miss out on any materials. Now, finally, Friday, reluctantly the internet came back, or at least my full speed came back. And by having that, I can now actually get back to making videos, get back to pumping out reviews, and get back to playing online. But of course I haven't been playing that much. Armored Warfare I've been playing a bit over the weekend because it was Halloween, and we got a nice bonus there. The other games, Red Dragon, I just haven't touched it at all. I know it's pretty terrible, but I just didn't get around to it. And that's something that I intend to rectify pretty much this week, as I'm going to be playing quite a few games, get some replays done, start focusing more on the deck reviews, because there is still a lot of you waiting for a deck review, and I intend to get those done somewhere this week or the next week. Of course, there are a lot of them, so don't expect any of them to be put out instantaneously, because I'm just not that fast. I aim to get one video out every day, and that usually works, but of course with having a lot of deck reviews in reserve, it's going to take a while before I might get around to doing your deck review. Anyway, what else happened this week? Yeah, I got a couple of invites from people who asked for a platoon invite or a division invite for Armored Warfare. Usernames that have anything to do with Stalin, Hitler, Mao, anything like that, it is gonna get rejected right away. It's that simple. I just don't accept people who use usernames like that. If you want to have a username like that, fine, but you're not welcome in my clan. You may consider that rude, you may consider that wrong, I don't care. I just don't accept people or usernames like that. So keep that in mind if you want to join my gameplay and join in on the platoons. Also, last week I asked for feedback on the streams. When should I stream? What should I stream? Should I continue to stream at all? And there was quite a lot of feedback, so I really appreciate you guys taking the time to give me that insight. I have a look at my stats. I got quite a bit of information from that, and it seems that most people or most viewers are from the US or Germany. Now, my timing on a Monday night isn't ideal for US viewers because it's just 1 p.m. Similarly, it's not exactly ideal when I'm streaming on YouTube because of the blocking that's going on in Germany. German viewers apparently cannot watch or cannot view the stream when I'm using YouTube gaming or YouTube streaming, whatever you want to call that. But for that reason, I've decided to switch back to Twitch, and as I'm going to do that, I will also make a change to when I'm streaming. And the next stream is going to be Sunday. That's Sunday, November 8th. I'll be streaming from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central European Time, which comes down to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's New York time zone. And for Australia, I'm sorry guys, but it will be at or past midnight for you guys. It's something that I just don't really have a good middle ground to. It seems to be either US or Australia, so I will be alternating that between the two time zones a little bit as I see fit. Other stuff that happened this week, not really that much. I was mostly raging about the internet 24/7, because just once you actually don't have the internet speed that you're used to, you're going to realize just how terrible or how terribly reliant you've become on using a connection like that. Because most of my games that I play are multiplayer based online games, and I just don't play those anymore. So I wasn't able to do that much, but interestingly, it was, as far as business goes, one of my most productive weeks. I got the most stuff done last week. So I suppose there's that to pose as a bit of rectification or correction to the situation. Anyway, with that, on to your questions. Quite a few questions lately, and I really applaud that, because it gives me stuff to talk about, and of course this is the platform where I answer your questions, so I might as well. Bill Wilson asks, with the almost constant nerfs to almost all of Red 4 nations, what Blue 4 units do you feel are unbalanced or are in need of a nerf? I may not have been paying attention, but I haven't seen any kind of nerf or rebalancing going on lately. Yes, there's the thing from the patch, which got us a few different maps. But other than that, I haven't really seen that many changes. So, please let me know what kind of units that you feel have been nerfed, because I don't see it. I don't really notice it. And what I think is going on is that people are not familiar with the playstyle for Red 4. It's a bit different from what you're used to from Blue 4. Blue 4 seems to focus very, very heavily on high-tech equipment, whereas Red 4 is a bit more focused on strength in numbers. It's a bit more oriented towards getting the right combination of units together, and especially North Korea and China, for example, they don't really have high-tech material, but what they do have are units which you can call in very, very large numbers. That's their strength. That's how you should be using them. So, do I feel any Blue 4 units are overpowered? Not really. It depends on the player who's using them. For example, I'm not that good with North Korea, because I usually tend to go for highly advanced quick strike forces, such as motorized decks, airborne decks. Take these Cobras, for example. The North Koreans don't really have anything that resembles the Cobra. Sure, they got a couple of the gunships, the Hinds, but it's just not quite what I usually work with. Once you figure out what exactly the strength is of a nation, you can always use that strength in order to make sure that you have the advantage on the battlefield. If you try to play Blue 4 like you would Red 4, or the other way around, you're going to have a bad time, because they're just not designed to fight that way. So keep in mind, what's the strength of a unit or a nation, and how would you best use them? Figure that out, and I don't think any of the nations are overpowered. Other question is by Reaper King. What's the future of Wargame Red Dragon? Are they planning an update or something else? I hope so. We've been promised a few new maps. I haven't seen that many of them materialize yet. I mean, we've seen a couple, but I wouldn't really call those new maps, because they're mostly revamped maps of either a previous game or a Wargame map that's just been altered. But I haven't really seen anything that I would consider terribly new or exceptional. So I hope that with a next map pack we are going to see a bit more variation, a bit more creativity on the side of Eugen. And hopefully that is going to give us a few new challenges. Because that's something that I feel that we haven't had for a long while. Yes, they've been focused on active aggression. Terrible mistake as far as I'm concerned, because I don't know, it just doesn't really do it. And if you look on Steam and see the reviews, most people don't really seem to like the kind of game that turned into. I mean, it had potential as a sort of Red Dragon slash Generals type game, but I don't know, it just didn't really get there. And I hope that they're working on the next Wargame. I know that in, what was it again, Active Aggression, there is, I'm not going to say talk of it, but there is a hint that they are working on a next title. But so far, I believe it is just that. It's just a hint. They showed us a billboard for Wargame Red Dragon or Wargame 4, something like that. What exactly it is or what exactly it's going to be, I have no idea. So we'll just have to wait it out and see what exactly they're going to come up with. Other questions that came in. Ian, none of your business, asked, hey Stealth, I was thinking in the next Wargame, an essential, vital thing is full mod support and map making support. Absolutely agree on the map making. We need to have the capacity to make our own maps. It will make for a lot more user-generated content, it will make for a more active community, and I would really, really applaud having a map maker or a mod generator in the game. Because currently working with mods is pretty much a pain in the ass, seeing as you have to make sure that whoever's using or whoever's playing has exactly the same mod as you do. If that's not the case, then you just cannot play, and that's the thing that I have going on right now with the Future Dreams mod, or the Wish to Dreams mod. It's something that you just have to play either with friends who have the mod, or you have to play single player versus AI or skirmishing. So either the campaign or the skirmish. And I think that the Wish Dreams is an interesting change, but we just don't have enough people to play it with or against. And I hope that that is something that's going to be changed in the next Wargame, but I don't have any information on that, so I don't know what they're planning, when it's going to come out. But as I hear something from the devs, and trust me, I don't really exactly have any good lines of communication, like some other YouTubers do, I'll let you know, of course, and that's probably going to be in one of the next War Room episodes, but I don't expect the next game to come out for at least 12 months. Curiously George fired a whole lot of questions this time. Would you consider doing a noob stomp video, a video where you purposefully play against a volunteer noob and then do a gameplay from the noob perspective against yourself? And by this, of course, I can show people how to adjust or how to come back from their mistakes. Interesting idea. I have done something like that. I think I got a video, why did he get his ass kicked? And in that video, I'm taking the perspective of a newer player and teaching him or explaining why exactly I did what I did, and how he could have easily countered my moves and gotten a much better chance to win. So yeah, I have done something like that. If there's specific demand for it, I can do it again. But just let me know if that's something that you would like me to do, and I'll consider doing a video on it. So if you want me to do something like that, just leave a upvote for yes to noob videos, and I'll know that I need to pay attention to that. Other questions that came in. Would you consider a Challenge the Fans video, where you post a video inviting your viewers to join a game with you? You can give them a passcode in the video. If they don't say it, once they join the lobby you can chuck them out. Yeah, I can do that, but I'm not exactly sure what the point of such a gameplay would be. So if you can explain a little bit what kind of challenge you're interested in, or what kind of challenge you would like me to take, then I can actually answer whether that's something I'm going to do or whether it's something I can do. Now, in the meanwhile, in this AI fight, I'm dealing with quite a few helos. Of course, heavy hogs are not the right way to go here. Let me just deal that. Other questions. Your USSR general deck outputs a error code on import because it has old units in, such as the BDR-90 in the vehicle section. Can you do an updated version? In short, no. If you want to use any of my decks, just take the time and adjust the decks that you see fit. Because that is going to teach you a lot more about what's in the deck than just copying it from me and trying to make it work for you like that. Of course, you're welcome to use my decks, but any deck that's been created prior to, I think, February this year is invalidated simply because it is changed by DLC 3, which was then officially released. So, unfortunately, no, I don't do the deck revisits, if you will, but what I can do is do new deck reviews. And the older decks, some of them have been revised this week by a subscriber. I'm not exactly sure about the username, but some of these decks have been updated so that the deck codes now work. Which, of course, a big thank you has to go out for this guy. Because it takes a lot of work off of my hands and of yours. So if you see any of those, let me know. And just thank the guy for taking the time to update this stuff. What's your favorite recon infantry unit? I'd say sniper teams, but every nation has a different sniper team. And it's hard to pinpoint a specific sniper team. I mean, the Fernspears are a great sniper team. You got the Kampfschwimmer, which is also a really good unit. It just depends. There's quite a few different units that I like, but most of them really the sniper teams, because those just work best for me. They are really, really good at spotting units without being spotted. And that's something that I absolutely applaud in a recon unit, because that's what they're there for. I don't want to have to micromanage them and keep them safe, keep them out of trouble. That's pretty much their job. So, a hands-off, low micromanaged unit, such as the Fernspears or the Kampfschwimmers, that's something that I really enjoy using. As far as a favorite recon vehicle, that's a tough one. I definitely like the looks of the looks. Sorry, that was not a bad pun, but that just came out that way. The looks, of course, is the German recon unit, and it is a rather effective reconnaissance unit. It's fast, has an autocannon, has pretty good stealth, as most units do, of course, and you can usually get quite a bit of effectiveness out of them, while still having decent survivability. Next question. Do you think that the British deck is underpowered? How do you think it could be improved? I don't think it's underpowered. It does have some flaws, but so does every deck. I mean, the US seems to be overpowered to some, but I don't consider it as such simply because I don't have the capacity to bring in a lot of infantry, or a lot of good infantry. So I wouldn't really call the British overpowered or underpowered. It depends on the playstyle. And usually when people start screaming, is it underpowered, overpowered, I go, have you been using it correctly? Because it's likely that you haven't. The British, and correct me on this if I'm wrong, but they have a pretty defensive strategy, usually. They are focused on holding the line, and you can see that with pretty much all of their vehicles. They are really good at defending, because the challengers are heavily armored, especially in the Wish Dreams mod, if you've been watching those vids. But those challengers are not particularly fast. They are really good at taking out vehicles as they come up. They're really good at defending themselves from trouble, but they're just not that good at dealing with specific threats or moving into a new terrain quickly. That's just not what they do. Does that make them underpowered? No, I don't think so. It just means that you will be really, really good at supporting a teammate and holding the line so that he can push up. And don't get me wrong, a challenger force is still really pretty damn difficult to defend against. They can be extremely challenging. And the one thing that I do not like about the British is that they have quite a few vehicles which are terrible at off-roading. They are really, really slow. And you can see this in the AA units. You can see it in some of the chieftain tanks. Those things, if I get the military doctrine right, were designed to go hull down into a position and defend from there. And this is something that I've also noticed in Armored Warfare, for example. They really excel once you use them in that role. The moment you start to pushing, or you start to push with a chieftain, you're going to be in trouble because they have a pretty low frontal plate, or a pretty weak lower frontal plate. So, underpowered? No. Could it be improved? Sure. You could make the things faster, you could make sure that they have more ammo, because they seem to run out of ammo quite quick. So those are some things that could be done to make those units more effective. Is it necessary? I don't think so. I think they're capable as is. Next up, sometimes I get the real impression that Red Dragon is not very plausible. NATO just didn't have the numbers to deal with the USSR, hence the nuclear weapons were the go-to for NATO. Do you think tactical nuclear weapons should be added to the game? Absolutely not. That would disrupt the complete balance of power in Wargame. And that's something that I'm really, really not for. Because I think that currently the game has a good balance. If you introduce a sort of super weapon ability, such as using tactical nuclear weapons, but also submarines, which was another question, they have a completely different scope. They are not designed to be used in a small theater of war, such as this one. But in a larger strategic game, such as, say, Civilization, yeah, there they could be actually useful. But this is not that game, and I don't want it to be. I want Wargame to be just that, Wargame. If I would have wanted to use nuclear weapons, I would have gone with something which suits that playstyle more. Such as, let's say, generals, or active aggression for that sake. So, no, absolutely don't introduce nuclear weapons, with whether tactical or strategical, into this game, because I don't think that the game would benefit too much from it. Other questions. Do you think that there is a bias towards Eurocorps forces because Eugene are French? Yeah, probably a little bit. Is it bad? No, I don't think so. The French are still a very, very potent force, whether they have a Eugene preference or not. But they just play different from what most people are used to. They are not a direct assault force. They hit and run. That's what they do best. So, again, as like the British, as like the US, if you use them wrong, then you are going to have a bad time. But are the units too strong? No, because the French, and I'm talking about the French decks, not the French in general, they seem to sometimes struggle with pushing, because their tanks are much more geared towards an ambushing style of gameplay. So again, if you use them in that role, you'll be good. If not, you're going to have a bad time. So always consider the right way to do gameplay like that. And I think I just got my ass handed to me by the AI, interestingly. Anyway, that's also a pretty good time to end this War Room video. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep in mind, the next stream will be November 8th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central European Time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. West Coast is going to be pretty damn early. I think West Coast US will be 6 a.m. and possibly even earlier. But I think that with this time zone, I have the best time for everyone. And since it's a Sunday, nobody has to go to work, or at least not if you have a regular weekday job. So I hope I answered most of your questions in this video. I got quite a few things coming up this week. We're going to continue Armored Warfare reviews. I got quite a lot new tier 5s in there, so we're slowly going up the tech trees, and that means more reviews coming in. I'm of course going to continue the Dream of the Orient campaign, which is turning into pretty much a exhausting campaign in the sense that I'm losing a lot of units. And of course I'll be doing the deck reviews. So that and more coming up on the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll continue to provide you with Wargame and Armored Warfare vids. And if you liked watching this, please hit the like button so that I know to continue with this type of video. Thanks for watching, thanks for being a subscriber, and I'll see you next time.